Hi everybody, it's Heather from Sister Wigs bringing you another coffee-fueled weight loss update. Total, I've lost 64 pounds, which is pretty awesome, I think. It's been really slow though, lots and lots of plateaus, which as far as I can tell, and from everything I've read on message boards, from people's experiences, especially women with PCOS, this is super normal because you know how it is. Like, weight loss is hard, full stop. Like, it's just hard, especially lots of weight loss and, sustaining it. I mean, all of that's really difficult. And, when you have PCOS, your body just really loves storing fat. It just really, really loves it. And so that makes it really difficult. So I thought I'd give you a little update to let you know. It does go down. It does. The scale does move. Check it out. Right? My highest weight was 272. 272. And my surgery date weight was 255. Which means since the surgery, I've lost 47 pounds, which may not sound like a lot, but you gotta remember my BMI was not really super high to begin with. I am so happy right now. So happy. Because, oh, just, yeah. It feels like a total victory, So I've been doing a little happy dance in my Pusheen t-shirt, like, it's going to be a good day, I think. And so I thought that I would talk to you a little bit more about how my diet has shifted since this journey began 19 weeks ago. Because I actually did the count and it's been longer than I thought because I had the surgery on September 9th. So I start the day the same way. I was having a lot of difficulty figuring out how to make just a cup of coffee. Like, not a pot or a half a pot, but a single cup of coffee with my big coffee maker. And I was overshooting all the time. And then all that coffee would go to waste. So my mom got me a Keurig, which is great. So what I do, okay, I've got a whole assortment of Leo themed mugs. But this one, every day I start the day with my version of a half calf coffee. Because, I don't want to have too much caffeine. Because, I'm super sensitive to it now, so it doesn't really take much. So I start with 1 K-cup on the low settings, like 6 ounces of the Cinnabon flavor, because that's delightful and it doesn't have any sugar in it. And then I take one of those chai latte ones that has 5 grams of sugar in it. And I put that on the 6-ounce setting too, and then I mix them together. And it's great, because, I'm getting 5 grams of sugar. I know that. But it's nice, and it doesn't leave the funky aftertaste in my mouth. And, that's all I need for the day in terms of coffee. And it'll take me like half the morning to drink it. I'll probably nuke it a couple times. But, it's nice. And I also have a protein shake. It's either one of these, which I've talked about before, the Premier Protein, or it's Atkins Cafe Caramel Shake. I really like those, but they have half the protein of these. Cafe Caramel Shake only has 15 grams of protein. So I try to do the Premier Protein, but sometimes it's just nice to have a change of pace because there are so very few flavors of these things I can actually stand. Speaking of which, I have done so much experimentation trying to figure out like treats that I could have, because like I'll have this, right? I'll have the fluids basically for breakfast, and then for lunch I have something very small usually. Yesterday I had, and this is not a political statement at all, it's just they're the only place that offers them. I had, for instance, Chick-fil-A grilled chicken nuggets. They have a kid's portion that is 4 nuggets. That's perfect. That is the perfect amount. One time I accidentally ordered, the smallest adult size, which I think is 8, and I couldn't even, I ate 4 of them and then was like, why did I get all this extra stuff? And then I have a dinner. Yesterday for dinner, for example, I had Nigel made pork chops and gravy, and it was really great. It was a really light gravy, like a turkey gravy that was kind of like cut with broth. But it was great. They were very moist. Well, I could only eat one And, you know, forget side dishes, because, I mean, this was a pretty decent-sized pork chop, but it was great. And I try to, you know, make sure I still take a multivitamin every day because, you know, obviously vegetables, you know, they compete with everything else for space, and I need to still focus on protein. So even my snacks have protein in them, and that's what I wanted to share in this video more than basically anything. I wanted to talk about what I eat for treats these days. Are you going to join me?
Yeah, if you like, yes, my sweet.
Okay. We're going to review these things, I guess, because...
Hello. Hi.
That's Nigel. These are the things that I like. I think my favorite thing, and one of you guys recommended this to me, and I want to say thank you, are these Power Crunch bars. I like the two flavors I like the best are the chocolate mint and the salted caramel. They have a really nice texture to them.
These two, they are tasty. They've got a good crispy texture. They've got a bit of an artificial sweetener aftertaste.
All these things do, with the exception of the pork rinds.
But these two aren't bad at all.
No.
I mean,
and the texture is great. And they don't have... The other thing is that they don't have a ton of sugar alcohols in them, because after you have gastric sleeve surgery or any kind of bariatric surgery, sugar alcohols are hard. If anything's got like sorbitol or maltol in it, they do. They make you pass wind.
flatulate?
Yes, when you...
Flatulate.
Yes, the sorbitol and the maltol. And for me, it's even worse because with the sleeve, like, any gas that's generated in your stomach has nowhere to go. I'm always trying new things, and I tried this... I'm trying to remember what it was called. It was like a protein crisp or something like that.
Oh, the Rice Krispies for bras.
Yeah.
Bra.
Yeah. No, it tasted nice. Like it was like a toffee pretzel thing, but it had a lot of sugar alcohols in it, and the whole night my stomach was like blah, 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 blah. Like I was just belching up a storm.
You were in discomfort, weren't you?
It was awful. So I'm not going to be getting those again. But these don't have any of that stuff in it, and they're great. And they have 13 grams of protein per serving. And they've got 5 grams of sugar. So, you know, according to the American Diabetes Association, a single serving of carbohydrate is 15 grams. So I just kind of use that as a guideline. This is a Lenny and Larry's complete cookie. And this is actually 2 servings. So it's a little deceptive because it's not as, like, gangbusters in terms of macros as the packaging makes you believe. Because you'd have to eat the whole cookie to get this 16 grams of protein. And newsflash, I can't eat one of these whole in a sitting without substantial amounts of pain and discomfort because it's just too big. So... he ends up eating the rest of it.
Oh, darn.
Yeah, I know. I ended up splitting all of them with them. But this one, did you know, if you're familiar with these, they make single serving sized versions of their cookies?
Makes me wonder why they bothered to do the double-sized one anyway.
Right? Like, who needs this huge thing? This like...
Guys who ask, do you even lift?
I guess. And the answer is yes, I lift. But no, and you do too now.
Raw.
Yeah, beefcake. But no, but this one is a single serving size, so you can get a better idea of like what that size looks like and how much, you know, protein, sugar, blah blah blah. And in terms of sugars, this has quite a bit more sugar in it. It's got 11 grams of sugar, so this is not something I can eat every day, obviously. But, you know, it's nice to have on hand for, you know, when you actually feel like you want actual dessert. This is about as close as I want to get to an actual dessert most of the time. I like these, and at least they've got a little bit of protein in them, this 8 grams. And so that way, you know, it's not just like pure junk food. But again, you can't make a lifestyle of it. You can't live off these things. Nor can you really live off of these things because... You know, aside from protein, they're really made to be, like, treats. And then the other thing that I eat for a snack, I love these things. These are garlic thyme pork clouds. Like, some of these things are vegan. Like, I think complete cookies are vegan. And these are certainly vegetarian. This is obviously not. This is for meat eater people. But I like these. They're not as like hard and chewy as like chicharrones are, and the flavoring's very nice and light. They've got more of a thyme flavor than garlic. I like that. And even though it says it's not a significant source of protein, it's got 12 grams of protein per bag. So, hi, I like that. That makes me happy.
They've got several different flavors too that are very nice. There's a sort of cinnamon sugar one.
Oh, that one's actually weirdly good.
Which is surprisingly good.
Yeah, like porky cinnamon sugar. Who would have thought? Actually, it's not sugar. It's just porky cinnamon.
But they do a habanero one as well, which, if you like spicy food, is really good. But if you have a sensitive
I can't eat them.
Post-operation stomach, it's not so good.
I still can't do spicy food at all.
No.
Like, I try baby steps. My stomach is so sensitive that I can't even do, like, black pepper easily. Like, I can't even do, basic seasoning. Going out to eat is still sort of not the most fun experience. If it's strictly, like, eggs or, like, brunch food, usually it's okay. As long as it's not, like, French toast or something like that. Yeah. But I mean, even every time I go out to eat, I can still only eat like a few bites, and then I just sit there the rest of the meal watching other people eat, which I thought wasn't that much fun when I was, pre-sleeve, and I definitely don't think it's that fun now. I just, yep, you're still eating. Yep, you're still chewing. Oh yeah, you still get to drink with your meals. Oh my goodness, that's the other thing. Every time I go out to eat, the wait staff basically wants to fight me over, can I bring you water? Like okay, we have to be proactive here. I want to educate any waiters, waitresses, servers out there, because I was one. And I actually had to learn about it from somebody who'd had the gastric bypass, because he came into my section and all he wanted, because this was when I worked at the Macaroni Grill way back in the day, all he wanted were the stuffed mushrooms, but without the balsamic drizzle. And he didn't want any water. And I was like, why don't you want water? Oh my gosh. But then he told me, hey, I've had this surgery and I can't eat and drink at the same time. So I feel like I'm giving that sermon basically every time I go out to eat, because unless I do, they sit there and go, are you sure? You sure I can get you something? Not even a water. Like
every time they pass every 5 minutes.
And it's mind-blowing. And then their managers will come over sometimes and be like, are you sure you don't want some water? Like, I'm not gonna die if I don't drink this cup of water that you keep offering me with this meal. Trust, I will drink some fluid. I start the day with fluid. Intentionally so I don't get dehydrated. Like, when I get this thing down and drink a little bit more of my half-calf coffee, I'll switch to water. And I drink a lot of fluid at the beginning of the day, so that way at night, I don't have to try to cram it in there, because, it literally feels like cramming it in there, and then you end up peeing halfway through the night. So I like to drink most of my fluid in the morning, thank you very much. But yeah, it's one of those things where I don't think they're going to get it, so we just kind of have to spread the word ourselves. Like, repeatedly. If someone says no to a beverage, chances are they've had some kind of bariatric surgery or some kind of medical condition that makes it so they can't eat and drink with their meals. So, I understand with waitresses, because, I was one for like 10 years while, I was doing the school thing and the living thing. You do kind of get into a rhythm where you're like, right, get drinks, boom. Take order, boom. Bring food, boom. Check on the people 2 minutes or 2 bites later, boom. Check, boom. Bye-bye. Like, that's your rhythm.
Yeah.
And by not getting the drink, it's not that they're worried about me. It's because I'm screwing up the rhythm of their service. But we gotta be adaptable as restaurant employees. That's where I'm at. Did you want to add anything? Do you notice anything that you want to?
Well, let's see. You're getting a lot better with eating meat. You're getting better with eating solid food as well. Because used to be you were just happy to have shakes and coffee throughout the day. Maybe grudgingly a protein bar. But you are getting better at eating solid food. And as you eat real, actual food from actual animals and plants, you are a bit healthier and your energy levels are a bit up.
Oh, well, that's because the inflammation around my sleeve, because it's been several weeks now, has finally tapered off. So the restriction isn't quite as intense, so I can actually get more food in, which that scares a lot of people when they first encounter it with the sleeve, because they start to think that they've stretched it out. No, it's not that. It's completely normal. Like, it's a normal part of this process. You have a lot of inflammation at first, and then once your stomach basically is healed, that restriction loosens up a little bit and you can actually eat more. But that means that you have to be, twice as diligent about what you're eating, because just because you can eat something, just because you can get it in there, doesn't mean that you should. And it means that you have to be really deliberate about the food choices still, which is something that, I'm still trying to hammer home to all of my friends and me and to Nigel, because I think we get kind of complacent about that, and we do this like mindless snacking thing. Guilty. Like I did that for most of my life. And so you start to realize like how self-defeating that is. Oh, weird thing. I had an epiphany with Nigel the other day. Where I was just like, whoa, like mind-blowing, like it just kind of came upon me, because I'd been kind of depressed and I didn't know why. And then I started to think about it. I was like, I've lost a major coping mechanism. Like I've lost, my number one way to self-soothe, because I don't, smoke cigarettes. I don't really drink that much. Like now I don't drink at all, but like I was never really that big of a drinker to begin with. And, so it's like I didn't use any other things other than really food to make me feel better when I was depressed. And now I can't do that. I don't get the same sensation from the food, though I've heard that changes like a few years down the road. Your brain and your belly start communicating a little bit more effectively, and then the cravings start to return. So I'm waiting for that to happen. But right now I'm still in the halcyon days of the gastric surgery experience, where, my stomach and my brain are not communicating properly, blissfully, and therefore no cravings or any of that stuff. But, I've been reading up on it. I research everything to death, and I've been listening to your stories that you've been sharing with me. So I know kind of, I hope, what to expect. But I think that's why it's so important to lay the groundwork for good habits while you're in this sort of golden period right after your surgery, because the surgery itself is not going to solve all the problems, at least not long term. It's a tool, and you just got to keep reminding yourself that it's a tool. You got to work it, you got to use it, but it's not going to do all the work for you. And if you don't learn these habits now, you're basically going to have a big rebound. Though I have heard that most people who have any kind of weight loss surgery, like after they get down to their lowest weight, they typically regain about a third of that weight back that they've lost. Like I've heard that from, science journals and podcasts, and from some of you. So I'm not going to put too much weight on what the scale says, but I'm gonna keep it on, and see how well I can do before any of that stuff starts mucking things up.
Yeah, well, you've just started losing again. You had a little plateau, and then you're going back down again. You lost what, 3 pounds?
Yeah, well, it was
in a couple of days.
It was 212 for like almost a month.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, boom.
Went down to 211.
And that was 208.
And then 210, 208.
Yeah.
So it's like 3 pounds in like a couple days.
Yeah. So I mean, it does that with the surgery, especially if you keep doing what you're supposed to do. It's like nothing, boom, nothing, boom. So it's like rapid weight loss plateau, and the plateaus come on real fast, and they last forever, it seems, and then they finally taper off. So.
Yeah, I was noticing that too, and I was just doing the regular old diet thing. I'd lose a fair amount of weight and then plateau, and then plateau, and then plateau, and thinking, where is this going? And then all of a sudden, a few more pounds drop off. Persistence pays off.
Yes. So my recommended snacks, if you're looking for good high protein snacks, I mean, my first choice is usually a shake. Not gonna lie, I do a lot of supplementation with the shakes just because some days are harder than others still, and I need to make sure I get my protein in. So it's always good to have some of these on hand. Just find a brand you can stand. I find that chocolate's usually a safe flavor in most brands. And like I said, the Atkins Cafe Caramel and their strawberry one is actually pretty good too. I like these Power Crunch bars. Again, you guys recommended these to me, and you are geniuses, the people who recommended these to me. They're wonderful. And I have these like every other day at night sort of thing. And I'm not eating all these at once. It's usually like one of these, you know. But I wanted to disclose, just in case you were interested in trying things without spending a small fortune like I did to figure out what tastes good. So the chocolate mint is nice, and the salted caramel is also very nice. And then I also really like these. They're pork clouds, but really any pork rind will do. And these I like because they're garlic thyme, and they're really, they've got an interesting texture to them.
They're very, very, very light.
Yeah, these are. They're really light. I really like these Lenny and Larry's complete cookies, but again, these have quite a bit of sugar in them and not a whole lot of protein. So you can't, I mean, these have to be like a treat. So I probably have like one of these maybe twice a week. And of the single serving size. Because remember, they do make single serving size versions of their cookies. And the only two flavors I like are like the Snickerdoodle. It's lovely. That's probably my favorite one. And I like this pumpkin spice one, which was like a limited edition one. Apparently they do spice cake well. Because, you know, these both kind of have a similar flavor profile. But this one's really big. It tastes a little bit like gingerbread though, which is nice. But I mean, that's a limited edition thing, so I'm probably gonna have to wait until next October to get those again, but whatever. But the Snickerdoodle one's an all-year-round thing, and at least they come in the single serving size, so that's nice.
Snickerdoodle is a funny word.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Why are you making a face? Are you judging us, British man?
No?
Because I could throw down some chalky bicky action.
Heather, I love you. Don't make me hurt you. I'm just saying Snickerdoodle is a funny word, and I wonder how they came across that. So I mean,
Rumble-de-thump smut.
That's Scottish.
What about Bubble and Squeak?
Well, that's the sound it makes when it cooks.
But it's still a funny food name.
Of course it is. Of course it is. But I mean, Snickerdoodle, I mean, Bubble and Squeak, that's the sound it makes when it cooks. Snickerdoodles, they're
What
not...
if I'm going to snicker while I doodle, and my mom brings me these cookies, and I'm like, why don't we call them Snickerdoodles, Mama? And that's... Maybe that's how God is named. I just created a whole lore for Snickerdoodles. Thank you so much for watching. We're going to call this one a night because I just spent the last half hour making this video and I got to edit it now. So hooray. But thank you for watching. Thank you for coming along on my gastric sleeve journey. I look forward to making more videos for you, hopefully, as I lose more weight. Yay. Okay.
You'll do it.
Hooray. Team us. Okay.
High five.
Yeah. And so until next time, have a great night, afternoon, or morning. Bye.
Later.